discoloration. Okay, I think we're live on both Instagram and Facebook. So welcome to our Demodex live video today. My name is Mary and I'll be explaining more about Demodex mites, what they are, how they can affect you and your various skin or hair symptoms, and also other facts about Demodex mites. Now I've got here basically, I've got a couple of links open which I'll show you shortly. Instagram, I apologize, it's a little bit of a funny angle. Feel free to watch and have a look. If you have any questions, feel free to interrupt at any time. I'm happy to answer them for you here. And yeah, we'll just start off. I can explain about Demodex mites. So here we have a diagram basically of a hair follicle. So Demodex mites, it says they're microscopic parasites that live under the hair follicles. So these little tiny things that kind of look worm shaped and with 8 little legs, that's a Demodex mite. And if you can see in this diagram, let me just point so that it's better. So that's a Demodex mite. Those are its 8 little legs. And you can see in the diagram, it's kind of like moving from into the hair follicle and then out to the hair follicle. And that's what basically Demodex mites do. They crawl on the surface of your skin. But I'll go into much detail later on. So they live in your hair follicles, which are these things, and your oil glands, which is the sebum glands. So they're linked to many issues such as Demodex mites rosacea, Demodex acne. So they're actually related to spiders, scorpions, and ticks, and they're arachnids. And they tend to become a problem when there's a high population of them found. And in a research study in 2014, it said that most healthy adults have at least a few, and you get these mites during childhood, but it's only when you're it's only during puberty that they start reproducing. So like in your teenage years, that's when the mite population can increase. So with mites, they do love oily skin. And as I said before, they live in the hair follicles. And what they do is they actually eat the sebum or the oil off your skin and any surface bacteria that may be on your skin. So I've got here like a lovely diagram. It's quite big. I'm not sure if Instagram can see it. Let me just maneuver things. Actually, this is a quite big diagram, so let me just move that out. I don't think it's going to fit in the frame. Okay, so this is a better diagram, I believe. I don't know if Instagram can see it. So basically this is a hair follicle, those are the mites, and this is the surface of your skin. So this part here. So here, so this pink part here. Now when the mites go out here, they reproduce. So they mate on the surface of the skin and they're most active at night time. And then they go back down into the hair follicle. The female lays their eggs and then it hatches after a few days. And then that's when the mite starts to grow and develop into adult mites. I think it's much easier if I just refer to this same diagram. So as I was saying, they love eating the oils on your skin. So any surface bacteria that they may pick up from the surface of your skin, they're going to eat that. And because the mites throughout their life, what actually happens is whatever oils or whatever bacteria they've picked up, they will actually store that, all of that, what they've eaten, in their stomach. So here, until they die, and then eventually they'll liquefy. So I can show you now what that actually looks like under the microscope, of what the mites look like under a microscope, because the one that I showed you was a drawing. Let me see. I think so. This one is like an example of what a mite looks like under the microscope if you were to pick one up. So as you can see, you've got 8 little legs. It's a little bit unfocused. Maybe I can find a better photo. Okay, so this one. No, that's not it. Sorry, let me just full screen that for you. I guess that's better. Yeah, that's a lot better. Oh, it disappeared. Anyway, so that's what a Demodex mite looks like under the microscope. So it does crawl on the surface of your skin. You've got the 8 little legs. And I'll explain about that. So while I'm explaining things, let me just play this video. Okay, so this is a Demodex mite. It's what they kind of look like. Okay, here we go. So this is a hair follicle. You didn't quite catch that. We'll stay here. So that's still the same diagram as what I was showing you before. This is a hair follicle. Those are the mites going down into the hair follicles, and even like the sebum, sebaceous glands here. And then they come back up, reproduce. Okay, so when they die, they liquefy. So all of what they've eaten will explode and go on the skin, will be left behind on the skin, which then can lead to certain skin conditions. And there's some symptoms that are related to a high population of Demodex mites. So symptoms like rosacea, blepharitis and acne. There's also symptoms like itching, dandruff, hair loss, hair thinning and many more. So you've got a lot of symptoms associated with a high population of Demodex mites, and it's actually the population that matters. It's not that they're on your skin, because with adults, with anyone, Demodex mites are most certainly present, but it's the population, when it's a high population, that it can lead to these symptoms. So it says here a high population of Demodex mites means there's simply too many parasites on your body. So your body's showing signs or symptoms. So it's manifesting in different ways in your body. Now, I explained how the mites reproduce. So they mate on the surface of the skin at night. Their eggs are laid inside their hair follicles, which I showed you already. Now their eggs, which they lay, it hatches within a couple of days. So the larvae develop into adults within a week, and the total lifespan of a Demodex mite is about 30 to 90 days. But yeah, like with Demodex mites, when there's a higher population, that's when it's a lot harder to eliminate. So we can talk about that in the next video, but for this video today, I'll just talk about like some symptoms of Demodex mites, and I'll show you also like what they look like under the microscope. So let me just play this video for now. Okay, so this is what I was explaining before, the sebum and the skin oil. So they eat all of the bacteria and things on the surface of your skin. So that's what a Demodex mite looks like. And here is a diagram. So those are the 8 little legs. That's its abdomen, or like the stomach, and it all of what the Demodex mite feeds on the surface of the skin. So be that bacteria, oils will get stored in here, and then when they die they actually liquefy. So for example, in that diagram I showed you over here, let me just see if that's clear, over here. So for example, this mite, it was time for it to die. It liquefies, so whatever it's eaten, whatever bacteria, whatever oil, will go here, will stay there. Or for example, this mite, whatever it's eaten, bacteria, oil, will land and explode in that area. So that's why it can cause, like, when there's high populations, it can cause like all these related symptoms, or it can contribute also to these related symptoms. There's a number of factors why Demodex mites can be linked to all of these symptoms, as I said. So I can explain how each symptom is linked, but I'll go over this briefly because I think that you guys get the point. So in terms of like rosacea and acne, with the Demodex mites, what happens is let me explain, like I'm just trying to think of a way to explain it. In one hair follicle, this diagram is actually not that accurate because there could be about, in a high population of Demodex mites, there could be about 25 to 50 mites in one hair follicle alone. So if you think about it, you've got lots of hair follicles. That's literally lots of mites in a high population. So that's why sometimes in different people, everybody reacts differently. So everyone might have the same symptoms of rosacea, acne, itching, but they might have different results. And just because you have, say for example, someone I spoke to had like rosacea and acne, so if you just have one symptom and not the other, doesn't mean that Demodex mites aren't there. They are there, but it's a question more of how many you have on the population of the Demodex mites on your skin. Later on, what I'll do after this live video is I'll link a quiz that actually helps you determine your Demodex mite score. So if you've got like any symptoms such as rosacea, acne, or even other skin symptoms, we can help identify that if you're overseas or international. If you're in Melbourne, we also offer consultations, but you can obviously find other videos about that in our previous videos, because in this video I'll just be explaining about Demodex mites, and all those other information you can find afterwards. Okay, so going back to the topic of Demodex mites, for example, you have like rosacea or you have acne. So if you say use any products on your skin, for example, you use any moisturizers or creams, that may also contain some oils which can feed the Demodex mites. Because they love oil, they eat oil so much, if you're applying the oil on the skin, that's actually not helping with their population. That's not helping with lowering the population, but it's more helping them increase the population. So we don't want that to happen, which is why sometimes if you think that you're helping your Demodex mite related symptom and you're helping get rid of them, it's actually not happening, and sometimes people find that they don't get the results that they want even through using like these creams, moisturizers and anything else, just because the mites are actually feeding on them. They're eating all these products. But there's also other factors involved. So there could be an underlying reason other than Demodex mites for itching, for acne, for rosacea and blepharitis, other than the mite population itself. It could be your health as well. It could be your immune system. There's just lots of different factors, and even environment. So like where you live, the climate and the season, and even stress plays a role in the Demodex mite population. There's a lot more resources that you can find as well, which I can link after this video. Now, I'll go over them briefly. So, okay. So you've got hair thinning, many more, hair loss, dandruff, rosacea, acne, itching, and blepharitis. So we can go back to this video and I'll just show you more of what Demodex mites are. Okay. So that's rosacea, blepharitis. So those, most certainly, if you've got like rosacea or blepharitis, these are the main symptoms that are linked to a high population of Demodex mites. So if you've got these symptoms, you can contact us and we'll be able to help you out. Now, there is such a thing when you start using our products. It's called something like a die-off period. So everyone might have, so this die-off period is basically when you start the elimination process of the Demodex mites, and then like you're trying to kill off the mites gradually throughout the 3 months. So there are reasons for die-off, and I'll go through them now. So you're going from, say for example, you just started using products to help eliminate mites. You're going from not killing the mites to then killing them. So it's kind of like an adjustment period where there's a lot more dead mite bodies or waste on your skin or under the surface of your skin. So that's why sometimes you can see, like, for symptoms of rosacea, when you start the process of elimination of mites, that sometimes symptoms may seem worse, but it's actually just because there's a lot more waste in the first few months of treatment. The second reason for die-off is because the mites are trying to escape the treatment, and some people actually feel an increased activity of the Demodex mites because the mites are actually quite, they can sense that they're under attack. So what they try to do is they actively try to reproduce even more. And that's why some people can feel that, you know, for maybe itching, they can feel an increased activity. All sorts of different factors as well. Now there's also another reason, which is like for people who are suffering from blepharitis, rosacea, acne, and even people with like more sensitive skin. Their skin needs to adjust, and it does take a little while to get used to using Unjex. And because, you know, even if you have, say, rosacea or acne, like similar to someone else, it's not going to be the same result if you were to go on the elimination process. It's gonna vary from one person to another. So someone might have acne, but they have like dry skin, or they have different like other factors. It could be like their health, it could be their level of stress. So even if like they do the same, I guess, elimination protocol, it will not be the same result for everyone. It will vary based on their own specific, I guess, factors, symptoms, etc. But I know I'm being a bit too general, but if you do get in contact with us, we'll be happy to help you out and explain much better, because there is a broad category here of related symptoms to Demodex mites. But in terms of what we can do to help, you can find other videos that talk about that. But it is important while you're undergoing the protocol that you stay in touch with the team, because we can't give you right advice until you actually start using the products to help eliminate the mites, because everyone reacts differently. It's not going to be the same across the board. It's like, for example, if you go to the gym and you see your personal trainer, and you want to build, say, like your muscles, they might think, oh, okay, they might say like an estimate and say, look, if you want, say, abs, you don't know, like if you're coming from, say, a very unfit level, it's going to obviously take you a while to reach that level of where you have the abs. So they can't say, like, they won't know how long it's going to take for your muscles to get used to the exercises, and you'll have to build yourself up to those more intense exercises. So it's kind of like the same thing in terms of helping eliminate your Demodex mites. We have Demodex mite consultants. They need to monitor your progress and need to know what's going on with you, so that we could help identify how we can help eliminate these Demodex mites based on your symptoms, based on the other factors I mentioned. So yeah, like, it's just really important to get in touch with us as well. Okay, so let me go back here. I'll just show you a few slides now of what Demodex mites. No, that's not a good one. This one's a good one. So this is a Demodex mite, what it looks like under the slide and under the microscope. So if you kind of look under the microscope, the way that we do it in Melbourne is we have, okay, so that's a more close up of the legs of the mites here. So you've got 8 little legs, so they're kind of like creepy looking, and that's the body of the mite, so they look like worms. Instagram, I hope you can see that. So we're taking a closer look at the mites. So you've got the mouth, you've got pin-like mouth parts for eating. Here's the mouth. And then you've got the legs, and they move around a lot, and that's how they crawl on your skin. So they are semi-transparent. You can see them like this under the microscope, and they can transfer from person to person as well, and even to your personal care items such as like towels and bedding, even like hairbrushes. They can transfer from one person to another, and they can live off the body for about 52 hours. So you have to keep that in mind as well when trying to eliminate Demodex mites. Okay, so I'll play the video again. So this is a female mite, and it's carrying baby mites in its body. Now it's gonna go down the hair follicle and then lay those eggs, then come up again in the surface of the skin during night time, and then reproduce again, and the cycle continues, which is why it's quite hard, and it is a process to eliminate the mites gradually and night by night. It's not going to happen overnight. A lot of people think that once Demodex mites can be eliminated in just like overnight. No, that's completely wrong. It does take time and effort and commitment. So that's why we have dedicated Demodex consultants to help you get through the protocol and the mite elimination process. Once you do actually help eliminate these Demodex mites, if it's the cause of your rosacea or acne, if it's the main cause, then that will help with these symptoms. But if there's other factors involved, such as like maybe your immune system, the environment again, your stress levels, all of that can come into play in terms of how you can help with these symptoms. But the main thing is it's very important still to help eliminate Demodex mites, because if you don't eliminate them, your symptoms may worsen in future, and you know, they can repopulate themselves over and over again. So yeah, it's very important that we keep that in mind, and the sooner you start eliminating them, the faster it is for you not to worry about them in future. Okay, so let me just close that. So we have here, I'll just show you another one where we took a test here in Melbourne, and we were showing how this Demodex mite is still alive even after 24 hours, because they can live off the body for about 52 hours. So, you know, they can transfer on the surface of the fabric. If you make contact with someone with a high population, they can also transfer onto you, and depending on your, like, on those factors as I mentioned, like your health, even your stress levels and things like that, they can transfer to you, and may also potentially lead to those Demodex mite related symptoms. So let me just forward this video a little bit, because we can't really find the mites here. Okay, I think this is the point where we found the mite. Okay, so all of this is under the microscope, and you've got these little bits. These are just when we take samples of someone's scalp or face, these are just like debris from, you know, from the scalp. So it could be like dead mite bodies, it could be like maybe bacteria or any other things that go on the surface of our scalp or on our skin. So this is the Demodex mite, and you can see that it's kind of lying on its side. And if you see here, you've got the 8 little legs, and you've got the body here, and it looks like a worm, and it's still alive from what I can tell. And we've just made it clearer. You've got the legs there, and it's still moving even after 24 hours, which is why it's really important that you make sure to use clean towels each night that you use that on your face. Even like for hair brushes, you just make sure to wash that as well. And even we've got other solutions for that, but I won't go into too much detail about that, because we have spoken about that in previous videos, and I don't want to speak about that here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to come ask us. Okay, someone just asked, 1 period of treatment is enough for removing Demodex. Okay, so that's a really great question. Thank you so much, Miss Dory, for asking that. So sometimes one period of treatment isn't enough. So it is a minimum of 3 to 4 months to help eliminate Demodex mites. But with higher to severe infestations, and if you've got other factors other than Demodex mites, it may potentially be longer than the 3 to 4 months. But we generally say 3 to 4 months for high, like maybe like medium high population. For higher to severe infestation, it's a lot longer, but we will support you throughout the process of eliminating these Demodex mites, so you're not left alone as you're using the products. And we do have dedicated consultants to answer any of your questions or concerns while you're undergoing the elimination process. So thank you so much for asking that. That's a great question. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, so I'll just give like 5 minutes for some more other questions. I'm just showing here now, if you've just joined, this is a microscope and I'm showing one of the results from our Demodex mite consultations here in Melbourne. And here is a Demodex mite. It's been living for about 24 hours and you can see that it's still alive and its little legs are still moving, like its little legs. It's got 8 legs and its body is like just about to liquefy, but it's gonna take another day for it to liquefy because they live off the body for about 52 hours. So look at that. That is kind of creepy. So feel free to just ask if you've got any other questions. I know in our previous video we've spoken about like what you can do about helping eliminate these Demodex mites, but I won't go into too much detail about that this video, just because I just want to stay on topic about the mites themselves. I guess like if you refer to like our previous videos, you can have a look and see more information about that, but I'll show you this quickly. You can find a quiz of how like your population density might score on the website. I'll link that later. Okay. Someone else asked, so L3693, thank you so much for joining us and asking, how likely is it that I get Demodex mites back after full treatment? Okay, so if you've got healthy, like if you've got good habits established, you've been following the protocol after, even after using the products to help eliminate these Demodex mites, it's only likely if you've developed bad habits and other factors, like if your health or immune system is down, that could also be a factor, but also stress could be a factor as well in an increased mite population. So the way that we actually help eliminate the Demodex mites is we teach you how to go off and live your life even after Unjec's protocol ends, so that your mite population doesn't increase after treatment for a minimum of 3 to 4 months. So to answer your question, it's only likely if you've established like bad habits even after we've advised you on the treatment or the protocol process. So you can get in contact with us if you've got any like concerns about that as well. We're happy to chat always, and if you've got like any doubts about protocol, we're here for you. We're always here to support you, and we've got dedicated Demodex mite consultants who work with a lot of customers, a lot of people even all over the globe, talking to them regarding their Demodex mite related symptom. So it's really good to just, if you want to know more about Demodex mites, you can get in contact with us. So I'm just here showing like the remaining parts of that video while I wait for more questions. Feel free to keep them coming. I'm happy to answer them for you. You're welcome, L3693. I'm happy that I was able to answer your question, and hopefully, if I wasn't clear, you can feel free to reply. You can leave a message on our Facebook, and then we can have a chat later on, and I can explain to you if you want me to clarify about anything else. That's what I am here for, because I am a Demodex Mite consultant, and I'm here to help you with your questions or concerns about Demodex mites and their overpopulation. Okay, so see here, let me just go back for a bit. See, you've got like these random brown like blobs and things. That's actually that could be like a part, maybe this person had like dandruff. That could be just like the flaky skin that we picked up on the slide. So sometimes Demodex mites, when you do take the test for them, they hide under the skin because they love feeding on the oils of your skin. So that's why sometimes it's very hard to see them. And even if you find the test isn't obligatory, you can just actually take the online quiz and that will help determine it. But for sure, everyone has mites, but it's the matter of the population of the mites that's important. So that's why even if you take this test, if you see a presence of the Demodex mite, that could indicate a high population, but we still need to take into account the other factors involved as well. So that's why we keep in touch with you throughout the 3 months, just to make sure you're using the products to help eliminate mites correctly. And yeah, so let me just play this video while I wait for other questions as well. Still here for about maybe another 5 minutes or so. I can keep talking, but I don't want to take too much of your time. So I think here we're just searching for the actual mite that we found before. So this is how sometimes we look under the microscope, because it's very hard to tell if there's a Demodex mite or not. See, that could be a dead mite, or that could be an alive one. Oh, okay, so this is, you can see it's a female mite, and it was about to lay its eggs under the surface of the skin, but we just got it before it would happen. So you can see here there's a mite. We'll zoom in even more. Oh, it's still moving. That's creepy, isn't it? So that's probably a teenage mite developing into an adult one. So someone just asked and joined us. Thank you so much for asking this question. Will I know for sure if I have Demodex mites just by taking the online quiz? Okay, excellent question. Yeah, so because you just joined us, before I was just explaining how it's not a matter of everyone has Demodex mites, but it's the fact that the population is what counts. So it's the population that's important. If you've got a high population of Demodex mites, it can lead to or it can be related to the symptoms of rosacea, acne, itching, and blepharitis. So the online quiz that I was showing you, it just tells you sort of like a Demodex mite general score. So it's got a combination of questions of what your symptoms are, those other factors I mentioned, like your health, your immune system, the environment that you live in, any good or bad habits you may have, that all affects your Demodex mite population. And even if you've taken any like medicines in the past, like antibiotics, any other medicines other than antibiotics, and other things that may have side effects, those take into account how you can eliminate the Demodex mites and the length of time it takes to help eliminate Demodex mites. So it's not a matter of like, how will you know for sure? You definitely do have them if you've got any of these related symptoms. Plus, if you've also noticed, if you've got any of these related symptoms, that's an indication of maybe having a high population of Demodex mites. So yeah, like, and you know, Demodex mites, they live in your hair follicles, under the surface of your skin. So some people who live in like more warm climates that has more sun, what usually happens is the mites hide deeper under the hair follicles, because they don't like sunlight, and they only come out during nighttime, and that's when they reproduce, and that's basically then starts the cycle of them, the females laying their eggs again under the hair follicles, etc., etc. So I hope that kind of answered your question, N_RS97. I can explain further as well if you like. You can simply contact us after this video. We're always happy to assist here for you. So I think I kind of explained a lot about Demodex mites and how they're related to the symptoms which I mentioned here. I hope you learned something today. If you've got any like further questions that need answering, please let me know. But yeah, basically with these Demodex mites, it's a matter of the population on your skin or in your hair. That's important, that we need to eliminate them and get them down, so that they won't cause you any grief later in the future or cause any like worsening of these symptoms that you may have. Okay, I hope you guys learned something, and thank you so much for joining me now for this live video. Yeah, feel free to contact us. We're here to assist. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a lovely day wherever you are in the world. Bye now.